What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rhonda on the Rocks podcast. I am always happy to be here, but I'm especially happy to be here today because I got a new friend. And I don't care what Drake says about no new friends, no new friends. That's some bullshit. I got a new friend, and I'm so excited to have her on the show with me today. So I would like all of you to welcome my friend DaLisa. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm really excited for you to tell your story. As a girl's girl, it's really important for me and especially for my platform to create a space for women to be able to talk and to tell their stories without being interrupted, without a whole bunch of men getting on the mic and trying to mansplain everything to us. Like we don't need that. Okay? So I'm happy to have you here to share your story. Yeah. What do you have on the rocks? What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, so I am drinking this espresso martini mix that a girlfriend of mine picked up. It's almost gone, y'all. Sorry. But I just added a little coffee creamer because it's a little strong. But espresso martinis are my jam. I am a vodka girl. I love vodka and rum. It really takes me there. Tequila just makes me too hot. I just feel like I'm overheat. The change. I feel like the change is happening.
That is funny.
So yeah, I love vodka. It's just like a smooth little situation. So, yeah.
Okay. So I am not normally a vodka drinker. I am very much a tequila girl. Don Julio, Actifulio, like that's me. Casamigos, yeah, that's your girl. But I found recently over the weekend that the On the Rocks brand, and I'm not going to put it on the screen because On the Rocks, if you want to sponsor me, I'm your girl. Rhonda on the Rocks brand, like let's make it happen. But they recently came out with a lemon drop martini on the rocks, and a bitch like me, I'm a lemon drop girl.
Yes.
But I usually get my lemon drops with tequila because I'm not a vodka girl. But this drink is so delicious. I put it in the freezer. Once I take it out, I didn't put it in a martini glass tonight because I'm ghetto, but normally I have it in a little martini glass. And it is actually really delicious. And it's made with effing vodka. And I do like effing vodka. I like Tito's as well. I like Ciroc too, honestly. But I just don't drink them often. But this is made with effing vodka, and it says elderflower liqueur with notes of basil and vanilla. I don't know if I taste all of those notes, but that's what it says on the bottle. And it really is absolutely delicious. So you're a vodka girl, I recommend the On the Rocks lemon drop martini. And if you can't find it at your local liquor store, then I'll bring it to you.
Tomorrow. I'm gonna be looking tomorrow. Text and Jewel, like, girl, they don't got it.
try like a Benny's. I feel like Benny's, because they have such a broad variety of stuff, you'll probably find it there before you will in like Jewel or Target or something. Or they may have it at Target. Are you shopping at Target? I don't know what we're doing with Target right now.
I'm not doing Target. I've heard some mixed reviews. Like people are like, well, when you go to Target, only buy black. But Target is just too tempting. I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just
you have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Listen, Target ain't gonna miss my $2.
Okay.
So if I go in there and spend my $10.99 on the rocks, if I do or don't, they're not gonna miss that $10. That's how I look at it. But yeah, I'm different.
If I do, I'm gonna steal something on the way out.
Please don't get caught because they're gonna be like, "Oh, she was on the podcast," and the next thing you know, she's stealing.
I'm putting a pack of bubblegum in my pocket. It's reparations. I'm taking some. That's just like that Denzel clip. I'm leaving here with some.
That's how I feel like every time I leave a nigga house when he tries to play in my face. I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving here with something. You're gonna be looking for your car keys tomorrow.
The toothpaste. Take the toothpaste. Take it.
I feel like toothpaste, like really petty shit, like toothpaste, light bulbs, paper towel, like a frying pan, like shit that you like. Is my frying pan missing? Yes, nigga.
Yes.
Yes, it's gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cooking my feelings in this motherfucker right now.
Cooking feelings is cheaper than cooking eggs, okay?
Okay. Eggs are $100 per dozen. Right now. Every egg is $10.
Yes.
And I cannot understand it. Like, I'm like, maybe I should go buy a chicken. I feel like
You should.
what I would pay for a chicken would be cheaper than me buying eggs for the rest of the year.
Yes, you should.
Like, I'm like, protein ain't even an option really anymore. God for like people who are vegetarian are suffering. Like, you are vegetarian. Vegans, they doing all right. They don't give a fuck about the eggs in no goddamn way.
Yes.
But vegetarians are suffering because eggs are $100 per dozen.
Mm.
And that's just like large. Don't get into jumbo.
Yes.
Extra large. Don't get into brown cage-free eggs.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew the shit was bad when I went to Aldi and the eggs were $5. I said, oh, God.
Now, come on.
Aldi?
Inflation.
I'm definitely not buying no bags if eggs are $5. I'm carrying this shit out like
Well, you know it's real when inflation hits Aldi. That's crazy.
Yeah. Aldi of all places.
Of all places.
Like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. So the first segment we're going to get into is the weekend rundown. And child, so I have been promoting this live show that I do once a month. Mm-hmm. It's called Rhonda on the Rocks Live and Unfiltered. And I do it because I like to kind of give a different element to my show and kind of like engage with my audience. And really the only way to do that is if you're going live. Mm. And so I've been promoting this show on Instagram, on TikTok, Snapchat, like everywhere since like the end of January. And so yesterday was the live show. I get ready for my show. I'm testing everything out. And I hit the button to go live and nothing happens. Like, I go on YouTube, I go on Facebook, I'm not showing up. So the first 6, maybe 7 minutes of my live show yesterday, which is now on YouTube, I'm just like, oh my God, it's not working. Everything fell apart. Everything is falling apart. Like, I was so choked up, like I thought I was gonna cry. I felt embarrassed. I was angry. And then I remembered, like, in this field of work, mistakes happen. And just like when I was teaching, like sometimes I had to like pivot right in the middle of a lesson because it's like shit is going fucking haywire and I have to pivot. But yesterday I was just like, damn, I'm live in front of the world, quote unquote, and my shit is not working. So really threw me for a loop. I was very like discouraged. I told my little boo, my little man, my man.
Okay.
I told him, like, I'm just so mad. Like, I was livid when I got off of live. Like, I did the show. The show was fine. I had a lot of people tell me, like, oh my God, it was so good, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it was just like that whole 10-minute snafu at the beginning just really threw me off. So that was my weekend. What about you?
I'm glad you rebounded, first of all.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was amazing. I can't wait to go back and see it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna check it out as soon as we log off because I'm a girl's girl too. Okay. And I just love to like support me in the moment. So look for a text at 2 a.m. like, girl, it was so good.
I can't wait because I need all the encouragement I can get, child, because I was beating myself up.
Yeah. So we had a work event. We had a work 3-on-3 basketball fundraiser. Okay. And so that was pretty cool. I went there. I was rooting for my team. I work at an amazing school. We are number one, but we took an L on Saturday. So I had to nurse my feelings at a local Black-owned bar.
Yes.
And I just had a good time. I was vibing out by myself. Okay. And my friend called me like, girl, why you ain't tell me you was going to such and such? Because I see you on somebody's story sitting in the background by yourself. I said, whose story. Whole story. So she was like, girl, I had to zoom in on you. And I was like, okay. But while I was at the bar, I ran into a coworker and he was like, yeah, next week is March 1st. And I was like, oh my God, I have this big event that I was supposed to be planning. I thought we had an extra week in March. I could not sleep. So I was like, I'm not going up to the school today. I'm not. So I went to bed. I woke up, went to the school early in the morning, sat at the computer for 2 hours and could think of nothing. So I literally wasted time. I was just paralyzed by stress, anxiety, and fear. And so I wound up just doing everything at night. So it was kind of uneventful and scary at the same time. But, of course, I made it happen.
We did it! That is one thing about being an educator. And this is why teachers and educators need to be paid more. Because when I tell you we can turn shit to sugar instantly, just give me a little time. All I need is my laptop. All I need is a copy machine and Canva and a playlist. And I can make some shit happen. I just give me a little time. A playlist, maybe a cocktail. Sometimes it gets that bad. Sometimes it's like a cocktail. Maybe I got to do something recreational. I don't know. But the children won't suffer because I made a mistake. We're going to make it happen every single time. So.
All I kept hearing in the back of my head was, do you know you have 30 minutes? Do you know you have 30 minutes? So I made it happen. I did not set off any alarms.
Amen.
To school.
I have planned a lesson in the moment. I've been like, all right, we're going to have a group discussion. And this is pre-chat GPT. This was when Google was all we had. Maybe Ask Jeeves. I don't know. It was all we had. And I was like, we're going to talk about the Black Panther Party.
Come on.
What do you know? Argue about this topic. Will you let your son play with dolls?
Yes. Okay.
Let's go. So sometimes, depending on what I did that night before, that don't let it be a Monday. We coming up off a weekend, or don't let it be coming up off a long weekend. Like we was off Monday. Child, I ain't got nothing for nobody kids on Tuesday. I just don't.
When my girls look at me and they'll be like, oh, Miss Barnes, you tired. And I tell them, mama got to have a life too.
Hello.
Come on.
Mama got to have a life too. And one thing mama is going to do is have that life.
Come on. With no kids. Ain't got not a kid in sight.
No, you see, this is why I told y'all. I needed a new friend. It's my new friend because we are kindred spirits. Kindred spirits. All right. So let's move into our first segment, which is called Love Bites.
I'm ready.
I'm mad. I have to go to work. I have to earn a living. I'd rather have a private income and get laid well and often.
So I was on Facebook and so many people ask me, like, where do you get your content from? The content fucking writes itself. I don't have to do a whole lot of nothing. I don't sit here and ponder what I'm going to talk about on this podcast because you motherfuckers give me the content every single time. So a gentleman that I went to high school with who, I'm not even going to go there. Let's just say we went to high school together and he wasn't that in high school. He's still not that, but he definitely was not that in high school. He made a post that said, quote, so Galentine's is for chicks to meet up in your Walmart outfits and shake your drunk, stankin' asses in each other's faces, question mark. Y'all 30 and up doing this ish? Ain't no way, LOL. Gotta be real single, cause nah. And I'm going to let you respond to this after, but why are you worried about what girls are doing?
Come on.
Like, why are you worried about what women are doing in our Walmart outfits?
Come on.
Because if I recall, sir, you were wearing Walmart outfits to school.
Damn.
You were wearing Walmart outfits to the schoolhouse. So if women are wearing Walmart outfits with their friends and they're drinking on the rocks and Cutwaters and Club Tails and smoking hookah and having motherfucking sub sandwiches, why is that any of your business?
None.
So I don't know why that infuriated me so much, but I just get so tired of men having an opinion about what women are doing at any time. If I saw a post that said, oh, Coach purses and Michael Kors purses are giving bummy, a man made this post. Why are you worried about a woman's purse?
Right.
Like, men being so concerned with what women are doing. If we're single and we're hanging with our girls and we go to brunch and we singing karaoke, that's a problem. If we all up under our man, we're too clingy. If a man is taking us out and we're expecting him to pay, now we a gold digger. It's like, damned if we do, damned if we don't. Damn when we do, damn when we don't. It's like we just never get an opportunity to be ourselves.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
You know, it's just like, why are you hating from outside the club? Why? Because you don't go
in.
You can't even get in. Because if that man would have been in a room with the women shaking their ass, he would have been slobbing at the mouth.
Yes.
So I remember we were having a girls' night at my friend's house. And of course, we were coming in, like, we were all hugging on each other, just loving each other. It wasn't enough space on the couch. So, like, somebody put their one cheek on my hip, the other leg was on somebody else. And her boyfriend at the time was just like, man, I wish that dudes could, like, hang out and be, like, intimate like women can be, because I feel like, you know, we would just have a softer side. And I really appreciated him just being able to say that instead of trying to shame. First of all, to be a Black woman is so hard. And I know it's also hard for Black men, but we ain't talking about them right now. But
Correct.
for us, it is so hard for us just to embrace our bodies, embrace all these dimples and dents and curves, and just say, I just want to celebrate myself with my girls, no matter what my situation is. If I'm in a situationship, relationship, engaged, married, like, I just want to do girl shit. I want to do hood rat things with my hood rat friends.
That's it.
As I sit on 83rd, I deserve to shake my ass on 83rd.
It's time for me to shake my ass on a yacht.
I'm wearing Walmart pajamas. That's my business.
My business.
That's mine.
My business.
Yes. And before they said no DEI, I might have been up in there buying some shit. But now we all got to boycott. I can't step foot in Walmart or Sam's Club. But what does that have to do with you? And if you lonely, just say that.
That's it.
Just say it.
That's it.
Because maybe a girl will slide in your DMs. Hopefully, I mean, we're in our mid to late 30s. So hopefully he's still not rocking Walmart exclusively. But there's a woman for that. There is a woman that will accept him in his Wrangler jeans. A woman will love you and your Wranglers. Do you hear me? So, yeah.
And I'm not even a label whore. No. I think I probably got this sweater from Burlington.
Okay.
Shoes is different. Shoes for me, I'm a sneakerhead, so I'm going to spend money on my sneakers. Clothes, everything I own is between Shein, Amazon, and Fashion Nova.
Yes.
It just is what it is. And TikTok shop, because I've been spending a bag at the TikTok shop.
Really?
But I agree with you. I just wish men didn't care, like what women are doing all of the time. So much so that you're scrutinizing it and like measuring what we do. But also, like, I wish men felt more comfortable with being in company with their homeboys.
Yes.
Like, if my guy goes out and he's like, hey, I'm finna go with the guys. As long as you ain't got your hand in no woman's pocketbook,
right?
I don't give a fuck what y'all doing.
Yeah.
You need that time to yourself to express and to be yourself and to just be around like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be up under me all the time.
Yep.
So I just was so disturbed about his level of annoyance with Galentine's Day. Like, do your research first. I'm gonna need you to do your research and find out what Galentine's Day is all about and why it even exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because every woman don't have a Valentine every year.
Mm-hmm.
So what's wrong with friends coming together to celebrate love? I love my friends.
Love.
Like, it's real. Like, I love my friends.
Yes.
So why is that not okay to celebrate without all of this hate? And he wasn't the only one. Like, I saw several men, even like people with the blue check, like famous people having something to say about Galentine's Day. It's like, women can't do shit.
Right.
We cannot do anything without it being under a microscope and, well, everybody got an opinion about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it. I don't care what niggas do when they get together. I know y'all be talking shit in that barbershop.
Yeah.
That's why I'm careful what I send in them text messages. Cause y'all screenshotting shit, putting it in the group chat. I'm not nobody's fool. I know what time it is.
I might be the fool, sis. Cause I lay it all out in the messages.
Depending on how I feel, I'm strategic about the news that I send because I know you're gonna put it in the group chat, baby. Listen.
Okay. I haven't made it there yet. I don't.
It's coming.
I don't know.
You just starting out. We'll get to that as the show goes on. You're just starting out. Okay. So you got a little ways to go. But men, stop speaking on what women are doing. Let us have Galentine's Day.
Yes.
You didn't buy us nothing for Valentine's Day. So let us celebrate love with our friends.
Yes, and I want them to embrace intimacy with one another because that'll make them a better lover. That'll make them a better father, a better co-worker, a better boss, because they will be able to tap into their emotions when it's tough, even with the guys. And so I just think that men need to create safe spaces for each other to do that because it's important, right? It makes Black female friendships, like, we turn the world with our love, and most of that comes from friends. And so I'm just hopeful that we will have a Black male friend intimate revolution, just so they can experience the joy and the love that we have in our friendships. I think that could be really powerful.
Absolutely. I saw a post some years ago, and this is a quick aside, about men, like Black fathers, kissing their sons.
Yes.
Like on the forehead, on the cheek,
yes,
whatever, but kissing their sons.
Yes.
And people had mixed reviews, but I remember my dad kissed my brothers.
Yes.
He kissed my brothers on their cheeks, on their foreheads, when they would embrace. He did that. So it wasn't foreign to me for my dad to like kiss his children that literally came from his loins.
Yes.
Like, you were inside of my body before you were outside right here.
Yeah.
Why can't I, but people were in an uproar about that. And everybody's so, not everyone, but there are so many people who equate everything to sex and sexuality. Love don't have nothing to do with anybody's sexuality. I should be able to, I kiss my friends, my girlfriends, not often. It ain't like I'm, not over the top, but like if somebody is going through something, sometimes you need that embrace. You need that like extra affection. But it was this whole thing about men kissing their sons and, they're raising their sons to be soft and all of this. And I'm like, I just don't get it.
Me either.
I don't get it.
My dad has one son. He's the oldest, and 3 girls. And I have always seen my dad be emotional with my brother, affectionate. Like, if he feels like my brother isn't being as responsive as he'd be like, hey man, I ain't talked to you. I love you. I miss you. What's up?
Yeah.
And so I love it. I think that it's normal. I think that it's healthy. I think that it shows a true bond. And I think the streets, especially these Southside streets, make you so hard that you just need that love and affirmation on an intimate level from your father.
For sure. For sure. All right. So now we're going to jump into the next segment, which is called a no or a go.
Okay.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
So I'm going to read this scenario to you, and then we're going to discuss it. Okay? You are dating the most amazing man who checks all of your boxes. You've been dating for 6 months, and things have been moving swiftly yet sweetly.
Okay.
You are sure that the next step is a beautiful proposal. One day, your beau reveals that he has an active OnlyFans page. While he doesn't garner a lot of money from it, he expresses that he enjoys creating content and plans to continue for the foreseeable future. Is that your man and you gonna stick beside him? Or like Jay-Z, are you on to the next one? I'll let you respond first.
Girl. I'm gonna have to be, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to be on to the next.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. He's amazing. You say he's amazing?
He checks all the boxes, baby.
That mean he got good credit?
Good credit, no kids, generous, loves God, goes to church, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost.
He got a good mama?
Beautiful mom.
Beautiful. Ooh, his sisters like me?
Love you. Y'all are like besties. You got
no.
You got his sisters pinned in your text messages in y'all group chat. The sister group chat. Yeah.
My mama's not even pinned on my phone.
I'm just trying to tell you.
You know, I think I might have to be on to, at this big age, I think I will have to be on to the next.
Okay. I respect it. I think
I will have to be on to the next. What about you? Tell me what you think.
So, it's not often that I meet someone that checks even an eighth of the boxes at this big age. Ooh. Right? Like, and not that I have that many boxes. Like, I really just want a man who does not have children, who loves God, who loves me, and is going to do right by me, respect me. He ain't knocking my head between the washer and dryer. Like, works, good credit, all of those things. So, for me, I feel like I have to think about, how does this OnlyFans page impact my relationship? Does it impact my relationship? Because I feel like you never really know a person, right? You never really know what a person is doing outside of you, right? You can find out some things along the way, but for him to be forthcoming and say, hey, like, this is something that I like to do. Some niggas like to go play basketball every Saturday.
Right.
Some niggas like to golf. He likes to do what he does on OnlyFans. I think I would have to inquire, what kind of content are you creating?
Yes.
Right? Because some people, it's not even necessarily nudity. It may just be some people have the craziest fetishes. They like feet. They like hands. They like the veins that's in your neck, that type of stuff. So I would have to inquire, what exactly are you doing on this OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Why did you create this OnlyFans? I would have a ton of questions, especially if you're not getting a bunch of money from it.
Yeah.
What need is this satisfying? And is this something that I can do for you? Do you want to put on a show for me every Wednesday night? What exactly are you getting from this? And can I give that to you? So those would be my initial questions. Okay. It wouldn't be a hard no from the beginning. Now, if you are on OnlyFans engaging with women and telling them fantasies and all of the things that you're going to do to them and all that stuff, I would probably have a problem with that. I'd probably be like, nah, we not doing that, because art imitates life, and I ain't got time to be fighting. I'm too old, too accomplished. I don't have time for all of that. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely have a ton of questions. So it's not an immediate no for me, nor is it an immediate go. But depending on how he answers those questions, I might be okay with it. If you are like, hey, women pay me $10 for me to like take my shirt off, I'd be like, well, I like how you look with your shirt off too, and I get it for free. So okay. Hey, spend that $50 you getting every month on some flowers for me.
Okay.
How do I benefit from this? Yeah. And I feel like it would be the same way for me. Like, we all have lives before we get into these relationships. Mm-hmm. And I think it's unfair to ask people to drop everything and do everything different to be with me. Now, if it's disrespectful, it's impeding on our relationship, sure. Like, there's an expectation to like, okay, you got to kind of pull away from that. Mm-hmm. But I want my partner, probably not OnlyFans, but I do want my partner to have a full life outside of me. Mm-hmm. Because when I've been with a nigga who did not have a life outside of me.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
And it was hell. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want to become a man's life, for sure. Nor do I ever want him to become my life again. And I speak from experience. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a time where I did not talk to my friends. They would call. If I was at home, I ain't talk to nobody on the phone. Ooh. I didn't talk to my friends. Like, I'm used to being in like group FaceTimes, and we don't even be doing shit. Me, Genesis, and Layla get in that group FaceTime, and baby, we be living our lives just holding the phone, chit-chatting with each other. I couldn't do that when I was with my ex. Wow. Because my life revolved around him. And not that we were necessarily doing anything in the house together or like spending time together. It was just that he wanted me to be all consumed with him. And it was just no good. So would I say an automatic no out the gate? Probably not. I would have so many questions first, and then I would make a decision based on the responses to those questions.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That just made me think that I need to ask better questions. Because I'm automatically like, girl, flee. But I think it's because I have spent so much time alone. And I'm just like, at the first sign of anything, I got to go. Because I know what it's like to be alone, to be stable, to be settled. And if it's a red flag, I don't have time. Yeah. I think we're also being a girl's girl. I have just seen my friends and family members go through so many things that I'm like, ooh, girl, like, you just learned this lesson for both of us, because I'm out of here. But the first thing that I was thinking about when you were reading the scenario was just like, I cannot allow a man to lead me that's controlled by lust. I have seen a man lose a $180,000 job because he could not control. Jesus. He could not control his loins. We were talking about loins earlier. Okay. He lost $180K. Has yet to rebound. And this was about 4 years ago. Has yet to rebound because, number one, that was a good job. That was a good paying job. Benefits, immaculate. But he lost it because he couldn't control himself. And so that gentleman in particular is like the first one that I think of. Yeah. But if it's not sexual or lewd acts, I think I would just have to see, is this something I could work with? Is this something we talk through with somebody? But my first thought is like, you can't even lead me for play if, you can't control yourself in certain ways.
Yeah. And I think too, like, if it's a no for you, let your no be no. The Bible tells us, let your no be no. Because I think when we get to the place to where we're trying to compromise who we are at our core, that's when we get lost. Yes. And then we when it's all said and done, we grow to resent those people because we decided, we made the choice to cast all of our morals and our beliefs to the side for that person.
Mm-hmm.
So let your no be no. If it's no, hey, it's no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And I think that when we start to get into that place of where we're like, well, maybe my godmother talks about that. Sorry, my computer is dying.
It's okay.
My godmother talks about that all the time. And it's so funny. She's like, I dated so many men where it was a well, maybe. Well, maybe. He don't have a car, but well, maybe. He don't have no money, but well, maybe. And she's like, when I got rid of the well, maybes, that's when I met my husband. Because I wasn't well, maybeing my way through dating anymore. I decided like, this is what it is for me. And that's it. So if it is a no, I don't want a man that's super lustful either, because I can't trust you. I can't trust you. And I have been in some situations where I'm like, I might get violent.
Yes.
I have a good job, good benefits. I got to keep it. I got to feed this dog. I got to keep this roof over my head in this podcast studio.
Yes.
Okay? So I don't want to be with someone where I'm now jeopardizing things because of my compromise.
Yes.
So hey, let your no be no.
Come on.
Let your no be no.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get out my little therapy journal and like put that at the top of a page. Okay, I gotta let go of the well maybes and I'm gonna get a man. Okay, Lord, help me to let go of them.
Let go of the well. Maybe it's just, and we as women, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, the dating pool has poison in it. The dating pool is a cesspool for just BS.
It is.
So when we find someone that's like, well, maybe, it's like, well, at least it ain't hell nah. You know what I'm saying? A well maybe is better than a hell nah. So we're accustomed to accepting the well maybe, because it's like there's so many hell no. There's a fuck no out here too. Like,
yes.
Whoa, like absolutely the fuck not.
Yes.
It's that category too. So it's like absolutely the fuck not. Hell no. Well maybe. Sure. Like that's pretty much how it's divided up for me.
Yeah.
So when we meet guys that kind of like, okay, well, I can kind of deal with that, instead of being like, absolutely, like, this is not it. Like, he has to be this. And I remember I've made a list several times of like, God, I really don't want a man that has children. Okay. I just don't. I don't have children. And the older I get, the more I'm like, well, I mean, there are men my age who have children that are grown. Ooh. Like, grown children. I'm 37. If I'm dating a man that's 42, he could have a 20-year-old.
Absolutely.
He could have a 22-year-old.
Yes. 24.
Yeah. Hello. He could have very grown children. He could have grandchildren.
He could have grandchildren.
There are 42-year-old men out here with a grandchild.
Pop, pop.
Pop, pop.
Paw.
Granddaddy. Granddad. Big Daddy. Like, all of the names. So, for me, I've always like compromised on that, even though I knew that's not what I ultimately wanted. Sure. And every time I'm like, see, I knew it. And then God brought my boo, and he ain't got no kids. And I was like, oh, you the one. Ooh. You can get away with a lot of shit with me, baby, because you ain't got no kids.
The one?
No kids.
That's another episode. The one is another episode.
Another episode. Let me write that down.
Yes. Season 3.
The one. No kids.
The one.
No kids. Before this podcast, I don't know if you know this. My friend and I had a podcast called Worst Date Ever. Mm-hmm. And who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were like, wow, you went from a podcast called Worst Date Ever to like having a man in the same year. And I was like, You put that in perspective for me because I didn't even look at it like that. I swear I didn't even look at it like that. Like literally a full podcast. We had 10 episodes.
Wow.
About horrible dating experiences, how the dating pool had pee in it, all of this stuff. And baby, before the clock struck 12 on New Year's Eve, it was my time to shine.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
That's when you got to do the, hey, Siri, play LMA Boot Up. Okay.
Period.
I love that. And I think that that's also an episode from Worst Day Ever to the One.
Girl, see, this why I told y'all, Drake was a fool when he said no new friends. A fool. From Worst Day Ever to the One.
Yes.
Girl, you in your Holy Ghost tonight.
No, and then that's when you can do the reveal.
Girl, DaLisa, get out your Holy Ghost.
Do the reveal. Bring him on. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Girl, you are in your Holy Ghost tonight. You're in your Holy Ghost.
Oh, is it the Holy Ghost or this drink?
It could be both. It could be both. When I drink, I'm most vulnerable, and I feel like that's when God speaks through me the most. Because all my inhibitions are gone. I'm not afraid of shit when I get this liquor in me. I'm gonna preach to you.
Yes.
You saw me at dinner about 3 weeks ago when we were there. All right. So we're going to move into the last segment of the night. And DaLisa, I am going to give you the stage. So when I met you, I had seen you before because we work for the same school district. Okay. So I met you, I seen you around, but I never knew you. And my boss and my friend Jasmine invited me to dinner with some of her friends, and you were there. And I'm like, oh my God, we just like ran into each other at one of the schools the other day. And you started to tell your story. And baby, when I tell you, I was so intrigued. I was so blessed by just listening to your story that I had to have you on this show. Okay. So what I learned about you that night is that it was just a few minutes ago that you lost your virginity at the tender age of 35 years old. Ooh. You saying who? Tell me about that. Start from the beginning. When did you decide that you were going to keep that cat monster in the cage?
Oh my goodness. I still don't think I have a cat monster.
You do. I'm telling you, it's in there. You just got to unleash it.
I do not think I have a cat monster. I don't know yet. It's been about 30 minutes. Okay. But I don't think it's a cat. If I find out, that'll be our part 2. If I find out it's a cat monster, I will
write that down. Cat monster.
I do not think that is my testimony.
From kitten to cat monster.
No, it has to be from cobwebs to cat monster.
From cobwebs to cat monster. I got it, baby.
Oh, my cheeks hurt. Oh, okay.
So tell me, like, how did you get, like, I don't know even what to ask. Just tell your story. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll tell my story. Sometimes I can be a little long-winded or drift off, so just reel me back in.
Yeah, I'm a reeler.
Yeah, so, I did not really grow up in church consistently until about the age of like about 13 or 14. Okay. And so when I went, we had like a really strong youth ministry at this church that I went to. And it just really talked about like devoting your bodies to Christ. Mm-hmm. And, I took that hook, line, and sinker. which I feel like I should have. It was just like a
Yeah.
movement. There were so many of us that were just on the same page. You know, I was praise dancing, and it's like you can't praise dance and give your body away. Now, mind you, I'm 13, 14. Like I don't really have a concept. But let me go back really quick to I have never had the talk with my mother.
Okay.
Period. Even at 35. My father said, I am going to have to talk with all of my kids. And I remember I had to be somewhere between 5 and 7. And my daddy sat me down and he said, you have a vagina. Make sure you smart and you go to school so that you never have to sell it.
Oh, man.
Now, I have a brother that is 11. We're 11 months apart. So we were always raised as twins.
Yeah.
And between the ages of 5 and 7, I didn't know there was a difference between the two, except for when we would play outside and my brother would take his shirt off and I would take my shirt off. And my dad would be like, no, you can't take your shirt off. You got to put it on. So that's the only concept of difference that I had.
Yeah.
So when he would sit me down and say, now look, girl, you got this thing. Now make sure you listen to your teacher so you don't have to sell it. Right? So I go from that to the.
Your dad did not want you to have an OnlyFans.
He did not.
At all. He wanted you to get that degree.
Come on. He said, look, don't sell this thing. And so then when I got to church and I was hearing about how this thing was also precious, like, you know, just devote your body to Christ. My friend and I, we had this little plastic ring and we broke it and we did like a virginity pact together.
Amen.
Now, girl, at this time, I had probably had to have been a sophomore. I know a girl who had a baby in middle school before we graduated from 8th grade.
Me too.
And so it was just like the spectrum was already far and wide. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want a baby. I don't want to sell my vagina. Yeah. And this seems like the safe route. And so I just did it. Like it wasn't really a thing. There were like a large group of us that were on the same path. Even with going to college, I had immediately joined like a church and we were all on the same path. And yeah, I think as time went along, like my virginity was like a source of pride for me. It was just like, I'm going to keep this thing for my husband and I'm going to meet my husband on this campus and we're just going to have kids and we're going to be happily ever after. And then I think somewhere along the way, I had started to use that as like a shield. Like, oh, you know, I'm plus size. I got a C in this class, you know, whatever, but at least I have my virginity.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like I'm not really feeling good about myself. I'm gaining weight. I'm this and that, but at least I have, you know, my virginity. And I think, you know, just along the way, I had tried to do so many different things to cover up my insecurities, but holding on to my virginity had just became like a, you know, no matter how I feel about myself, at least I'm still pure in this way, which to me just became like really toxic, not the point of it. And then after so long, like my virginity became my companion. And that's not what it's supposed to be. And then, girl, after that, I just became scared. Like, what's supposed to go where? Who? How? I got to take off my clothes. I got to do all of these different things. And so then I think at one point it just got to be too big.
Yeah.
Like my friends couldn't even talk to me about it. They'd be like, DaLisa, it's time. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm too scared. Just to have that level of vulnerability with a man that wasn't my husband, even though I didn't see no husbands around. I didn't know how to get a husband or find a husband, but at least I had this thing. So yeah, I just think that the time just went and it went by in the blink of an eye. And I looked up and I was 35.
So it was like a security blanket for you.
Definitely a security blanket, 1000%.
So less of like a badge of honor, more of like, as long as I hang on to this,
yes,
I'll be okay. As long as I hang on to my virginity,
yes,
I'm still good. I'm still
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a badge of honor, and then it became a source of shame. Like I didn't tell people because they'd be like, "Girl, what the f- is wrong with you?
Because I
How old are
definitely
you?"
thought it. I didn't say it at dinner, but I was just like, oh my God, like, girl, please. I felt like a whore. I'm like, Jesus, how much dick I've had between 20 and 45? Shit.
Yeah,
Like, girl, please.
yeah. I think that's the perception. Like, girl, something is missing. What is it that's not connecting? Because how?
Yeah.
How? But to me, it was just like I can take the how away, and I definitely thought that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
No, like it's got to be something wrong with me, Lord. I just can't do it. And it wasn't that I didn't have those opportunities, but
Yeah.
girl, after so long, I would freeze up. And they'd be like, you
Yeah.
know what? The Me Too movement was already out. It was like,
He like, me too. Me too.
girl, I'm not going to jail behind what you trying to do over here. Let me move around. so, so yeah, I definitely had, and then after seeing people's reactions, it was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna tell nobody except for,
Right.
and most of my close friends I've had since middle school anyway, so they had
Mm-hmm.
already known. But girl, I wasn't telling nobody, no men, no new friends, not a soul, because it was
Yeah.
so taboo. I would
Mm-hmm.
say after 29, it was like, girl, what are you doing?
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. And so then D-Day came.
Woo! It's showtime!
D-Day is
D-Day
I
came.
know.
And how did you get there? Like tell us how you got from like my security blanket, my badge of honor. Like at what point did you start to be like, I could probably
Okay.
do something? I might want to get down with the get down. Like what made you like change your mind?
I had just started to accept myself.
Okay.
I had started to accept my body. I started to accept that I wasn't perfect. I
Yeah.
started to just accept like the fact that men would want me and what I felt like was an undesirable body.
Yeah.
And just realizing like I have so much to offer. Shout out to all my home girls who are just like, girl, look at all these things you have going for yourself. Like, you deserve to center your pleasure, to center your joy. You
Yes.
deserve to have those experiences with a fine man.
Mm-hmm.
I think so often I would look at the maybe men and be like, oh, well, if he would. And it's like, girl, that is a maybe.
Okay.
You better go over here
Yeah.
to these dudes,
Mm-hmm.
that find you desirable, even when I did not find myself desirable. So it was just like a journey of evolution. And then I was sitting at one of my favorite spots, Miru, at the St. Regis Hotel.
Okay.
And I was talking to this guy, and I had a flight, and my friend was like, girl, go over there and then go straight to the airport in the morning. It was a red eye
Yes.
flight. And so that was it. I don't know like how much detail, but that was it. I was sipping some lemon drops. Downtown, gorgeous view. To me, it's the best rooftop in the city.
Okay.
And it was just like, time to make it happen.
So what? Okay. You having lemon drops.
Yes.
Why was that the moment? Like, what about that moment was like, it's going down? What about that moment like shifted your entire mind? Now you have never in 35 years of life even spit on it. And today you like, I'm finna show them what I'm working with.
I don't know if I showed him what I was working with. I don't know. I still don't know. The verdict is still out. I'll call him and ask him. Oh, I should put him on speaker. But yeah, it was just like, I just had started to feel more free. I
Okay.
expressed to you and the girls at dinner that there is a large, well, I wouldn't say large, but I knew many of women that had either waited long time or are still waiting for marriage. And so I also felt solace in that community. But I
Okay.
was just like, you know what? I'm really starting to accept myself. I'm starting to realize like what I want to do. And I got into a place where this wasn't everything to me anymore. It was a piece of me, it was a part of me,
Yeah.
but it wasn't my full story.
Yeah.
And so as I started to lean more into who I am, some of my accomplishments, things that I just wanted to do and want out of life, intimacy was one of them.
Okay.
And so I was like, I think today I want intimacy.
Come on.
Hey, you free? Yes. All right, girl. Let me go home and pack. Let's go over here. I got a 4:30 a.m. flight to DC. That's a couple hours. Let's see what we can do. So that's the story.
I love that for you.
Yes.
Like truly. And it's less about like the losing your virginity and the actual like sex part. Like a man will fuck a ring light. Like niggas will fuck the emptiness of this bottle. Okay. They don't care.
Yes.
But you having the power to choose when and where and how is what has me like clock that T.
Yes.
Clock that T. I love that for you. And I love to see women who choose and who know the power in their own choice. Like I said, I haven't gone into a whole lot of depth with you, but I was in a very toxic, abusive relationship prior to now, like physically, emotionally, financially, all of the alleys of abuse. And I remember when my ex and I were like, when I was finally done, I was done. And I remember my first like encounter with a man after that. And it was probably one of the best sexual experiences I've had to date because I felt like I can finally be myself. I finally feel like I'm just Rhonda. And that's why I named this podcast. It's like, I'm Rhonda on the Rocks. Like I am straight, no chaser. I am who I am. I'm the purest form of myself right now. And it's just, it's amazing to me. And I always get so excited when other women experience that awakening. Because it's less about sex. Sex comes a dime a dozen. You can go outside on that sidewalk and buy your dick right now. That's not what it's about, right? It's that I have the power to choose if I'm going to go out on that sidewalk and buy that dick right now. Right? And women have way more power than we sometimes are aware of or we sometimes tap into. We actually hold the power. And so for you to be like, hey, I done had these lemon drops. I'm feeling froggish. If you trying to leap, what's up? But I got to make my flight because I'm going to DC.
Yes. And I've also only had great experiences.
Good.
Men are, the same age as me.
Yeah.
And they have always been so respectful and kind and just caring. And I was talking to a friend about it, and she was like, girl, I started at 16, 17, and it was terrible for the first 8 years. And I just don't have, so I am grateful, at 30, I'm now 36. And so it's like, I want to catch up a bit with experiences and different things. But it's just like, oh, I'm so grateful because I don't know where I would put that pain or I don't know where I would put those bad experiences. And so I'm just happy that at this moment, I don't have to worry about that because it's just been sweet, kind, tender. I've been able to say, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. And just finding my voice in that. And so, I think it's cool. It's pretty cool.
And I mean, for you to have had only good experiences, clearly you are God's favorite because I And I wasn't having sex as a teenager. My first experience, I was 20 years old, and similar to you, my cousin and I had a virginity pact, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And when she called me and told me, like, hey, it went down over the weekend, I went down to SIU Carbondale and shit shook. I was like, oh, bet. Like, green light. Like, I'm going. And my first experience was not magical by any means. I did what I did, and then I went to work at Walgreens that evening. I was like, I'm bleeding. Like, this is not fun. Okay. But for me, like, I felt the same that you did, like this power in like refrain. Like, I had gone through college at this point and still held on to my jewels. So I felt like this arrogance almost.
Yeah.
At that time, like I was young. So I felt like I'm still a virgin and you all are whores. And now it's like, girl, I'm trying to get it as often and how often as I can. One of my favorite shows is Insecure.
Okay.
And I loved that show for so many reasons, but I love how Issa Rae kind of like shined light on the like women empowerment part, right? Like she talked about like having a hotation. Like, I'm doing me. When she broke up with Lawrence, she was outside big time.
Yeah.
And men do it all the time. Mm-hmm. And they get a round of applause. Like every notch in their belts, every star in the sky that they've, slept with. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, oh, well, that's what men do. Boys will be boys. But when women do it, it's like, oh, she's nasty. She's a whore. She's this, that, and the third. And it's like, no, women deserve, like you said, intimacy. Right? Mm-hmm. Like we deserve to feel pleasure as well, as often as we choose. Mm-hmm. And so I just applaud you because I feel like you really prioritized yourself and it was more about you and less about the man that you were being intimate with. Because I feel like sometimes as women, we get into this rut of like, I just want to make him happy. Mm-hmm. Like this is for him and it's not about us. And in your case, you were like, I feel good about me. And so I want to include this in what I got going on. And I just love that for you.
Yes. And I was not in a relationship with him.
Period.
And not even seeking a relationship with him. It was just like, oh, I trust you. We've been talking for X amount of time. Yeah. And I have zero expectations. Mm-hmm. This is just what I want in this moment. Yeah. Are you down?
Yeah. And good for you.
I did ask him for consent. We both sure. As grown, almost 40-year-olds, like, do you consent? Yes, I consent. Yes, let's do it.
Very good. Very good. You did it the right way. I mean, you did it the right way because you did it your way.
For sure.
And that is what is most important.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that while some people feel like losing your virginity or having your virginity or being a virgin for however long is like lame or whatever. For you, it was like, this is my power and I choose to do what I want to do with my power. Mm-hmm. And I just love that for you.
Period.
I think that was beautiful.
Yay. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Yeah. I am so happy to have met you. I have learned so much, and this podcast episode has been absolutely amazing. Like, I know that there was some nerves and whatever beforehand, but I have had a truly enjoyable experience with you. And I just want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy that all the good things that people have said about you are true.
Thank you.
You never know, girl. You never know.
Listen, you might go back to work and be like, nah, she was a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. But no, thank you so much. For those of you who are listening, you know that you can find me on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify at Rhonda on the Rocks podcast, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Rhonda on the Rocks. And I will catch you guys on the next episode. Bye.